Zoom recording. Okay, so hello everyone and welcome to the Council of Clubs meeting for March 16th. And even though it says March 15th up there, it is March 16th. And I will go ahead and put the link to the agenda in the chat for anyone that doesn't have it. And we shall begin. So this is the agenda slide. Okay, great. Okay, well, welcome everyone. On our agenda today is first welcoming new club presidents and clubs. Very exciting. It's the beginning of the year. We have a lot of wonderful club presidents to announce. And then announcements from elected officials, party leaders, primary results and general election race update. Mobilizing an election year. We're going to have a quick session on how to welcome back people to your club. Club of the Year nominations explained. We were originally planning on doing Club of the Year this month. We postponed it till next month because everyone was so busy with the primary election. Upcoming endorsement considerations, suggest a speaker, and other announcements. Okay, so first up is the part where we get to meet our new club presidents. If you are a new club president or a returning club president that is club president again, we'd love to hear from you. So please raise your hand and introduce yourself.
Mm-hmm. Who's first? Oh, I have to.
Oh, I put myself on mute. David, you were the first to raise your hand, so you are first. And then Jordan, then Tanya, then Callie. So nice to meet all of you.
I can't remember how to do the hand raise on the screen here. I'm Dave Fisher. I'm the new president of Point Loma Club since February 18th, I think it was. Excuse me. I have a backup, Dave Engel. In my absence, I believe he'll be here. I'm not sure if he's here today or not. I don't see him listed. I've been a member of the club since 2008. I've been voting Democrat since 1980. I have a bit of a history there. Anyway, that's my short story. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Jordan, you were next.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Jordan Latchford. I'm the new president of the YIMBY Democrats of San Diego County and really excited to be here.
Wonderful. Tanya?
Hi, everyone. Tanya Castaneda, returning president of Chula Vista Dems. I was last president in 2021, and that was a year of COVID in which our main accomplishments were creating a website, an online payment system, regular Zoom meetings. It was all very tiring and not as fun as I had hoped. I'm looking forward to a great year for the Chula Vista Democratic Club because it's an election year and we're in person, and I want to make it a really great year for our members. Thanks, everyone.
Welcome back. Callie and then Suzanne.
Yes, hello. I'm the returning president for College Democrats at UC San Diego. Very exciting. Our VP is also here today. His name's Sanjay, around here somewhere. I also want to throw out that aside from that, Sanjay and I are both running for DNC member. In case you have any interest in supporting us or anything about that, feel free to reach out or collabing with our club.
Okay, Suzanne? Oh, you were on mute.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I apologize. I'm Suzanne Hanson, and I'm the president of the brand new club, Alliance for Democracy of East County. And I want to tell you about our upcoming March meeting, which is on the 26th of this month. It's an in-person meeting, and we will be talking about climate change. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Suzanne. I also want to mention there's another new club in South County, the South Bay National City Democratic Club. I'm not, it may be on us if their president is not here today because I'm not sure she was added to all the lists she needed to be for announcements. Her name is Cindy Lopez, but we're very excited to have them on board, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from her next month. So great. Okay, next up, elected officials and party leader announcements. Are there any party leaders on here that would like to make an announcement? Oh, Brenda, would you? Oh, okay, I see your message. Also, I'd like to announce that Brenda Geary is the new president of the Latina Democratic Club. She was the VP for 2 terms, and she has some voice issues today, but she wants to let you know that she is here. And welcome, Brenda. Okay. Also, oh, Greg, your hand is raised.
I just wanted to speak during elected officials.
Yes, yes, we are now on
Okay.
the elected official.
Okay, that's it.
site.
I'm Greg Robinson. I'm Dr. Greg Robinson. I currently serve as Vice President of the Labor Democratic, excuse me, of the County Board of Education. I'm running for re-election. And this is a really down ballot race, the County Board of Education. But it's important. No Democrat should have to be told that there's a culture war raging through our schools pushed by the right wing, and they're attacking some of our most vulnerable children, particularly trans youth. And this is very personal for me. My son is trans, and I know what he went through as an adolescent. And I don't get how any politician should try and climb over the suffering of these children to try and extend their personal power. And also, no Democrat should also be unaware of the fact there's an attempt to privatize public education, from charter schools to for-profit companies. They're trying to rake in public dollars for their own profit and interests. We need somebody who's willing to push back against it. I have a history of pushing back against these right-wing corporations to the point I was targeted by Alice Walton, the second richest woman on earth, who contributed nearly $250,000 to keep me from being re-elected. And then finally, I am president of the Labor Democratic Club. And teachers right now in our county are facing massive layoffs. I'm not sure you're aware of this, but in San Diego Unified alone, hundreds of teachers are facing layoffs. And they've asking us to come out next week on a picket line to walk in solidarity with them. I think we all as Democrats need to do that. I'm committed to showing up on that picket line. Honestly, I'm getting a little older, but my favorite aerobic sport is walking picket lines. And so I'll be there. And I think all of us as Democrats will be there to support our teachers in their unions when they are facing these difficult times. So again, Greg Robinson, running for County Board of Education.
Okay. Okay. So thank you for the announcement, Greg, especially about the picket line. That's very important. Let's keep the candidate stuff kind of until the end. Candidate announcements are at the end. So things that are related to your candidacy going forward, let's keep those to the end. Sanjay, are you here in an elected position?
In a way, I'd say so. So I'm the National Vice President for College Democrats of America, and also Cali's Vice President for UCSD College Democrats. Just wanted to pop in and say hi. And if you guys, like any of your clubs want to collaborate with, young college age students across the nation, I'm happy to be a resource. I'll just drop my email in the chat. Let me send it to SDP Zoom, I think. And then if you're willing to put that in the chat, I just wanted to say hi. And if you ever, want to collab with something on the social media, or like need some extra traction on a campaign, or want some help just mobilizing youth, happy to both help on the national level through College Democrats of America, as well as locally through UCSD Dems. So that's all. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. George Van Hassel.
I'd like to introduce myself. My name is George Van Hasselt. I'm the incoming Vice President of the San Marcos Democratic Club. I'm appearing in behalf of Paul Mendoza, and I've been a lifelong Democrat. In the past, I've served on the Central Committee and so forth. At the moment, I'm not a candidate for any particular office, but anyway, I just thought I would introduce myself.
Wonderful. John, thank you.
Well,
thank you, George.
John Hartley here. I'm the new president of the Uptown Democratic Club. Every time I put my hand up, it goes down. So I just want to say hi to everyone.
Okay.
I'm glad to be a Democrat.
Thank you. We're glad you're president of the Uptown Democratic Club. I'm not sure why your hand is going. It's nothing that I'm doing on the back end, so I'm sorry that's happening. So I also noticed, Cindy, that you've joined the meeting. If you would like to introduce yourself, we're doing introduction of new club presidents and new clubs. And I think, I mentioned the South Bay National City Dem Club already. But if you'd like to say hi, we'd love to see you.
Yes. Yes, hi everyone. Good morning. Sorry, I got your MAC needs an update right now. My name is Cindy Lopez. Pronouns she, her, ella. I live in National City, and we just chartered or going to chartered, hopefully on Tuesday, our new club, South Bay National City Democrats. I'm really excited to just bring civic engagement to this part of the region.
Thank you. Welcome. Okay, so we kind of gone back to new clubs and club presidents. I thought we were done with that, but we had a few more. If anyone else would like to raise their hand, I don't want to skip ahead unnecessarily. Okay, great. Okay, so elected officials and party leader announcement. Just a quick review. We always include this. Our regional contacts for clubs are Deborah Cunningham Skernick, these are our California Democratic Party contacts. She is for the 71st, 74th, 75th, and 76th Assembly, so basically North County. Our South Region Director is Michelle Krug. Her Assembly districts are 77, 78, 79, and 80th. I don't think Michelle is on the line. Usually when she is, she makes announcements at this time. I don't yet see her. Okay, so we'll circle back when she joins. Your Club Development Committee, this is the group overseeing the Council of Clubs, is myself as Director of Clubs. My name is Sonara Velasquez. Our Metro West Director is Indranil Banerjee. He is on the line. North Coastal is Rob Howard. He is here as well. North Inland is Hugh Rothman. East is Kira Green. South has been Anna Webb. She's announced that she's moving, so we will be getting a new representative for the South. At large is Justin Giamachillo and Deanna Aguirre. So this is our Club Development Committee. They can help you if you have any questions about your club formation, interacting with the party, etc. They're a wealth of knowledge here to support you. So, okay, great. So first up is our primary election results. So I just wanted to take a minute to highlight all of our club leaders that now have an elected position on Central Committee. We have, going in order of assembly districts, Michelle Sear with Demco is now an elected member. Ross Pike of the Fallbrook Democratic Club, these are the presidents. Melinda Vasquez, the Rancho Penasquitos Democratic Club. Paul Mendoza of the San Marcos Democratic Club. Kathy Hyatt of the Women's Democratic Club. Ryan Tribuco of Democrats for Equality. Indranil Banerjee of the AAPI Democratic Club, and Tamika Cook of the MLK Democratic Club. So we're very excited to see further representation for these clubs on our Central Committee, because as an elected member, you receive both your vote and that of your alternate. And additionally, beyond that, all clubs have a right to a Central Committee caucus representative through their associate member. So this is the MLK Club will have their president as an elected member, and they will have their associate. So we're very excited, and all of these clubs, of course, to have this representation. So congratulations to our clubs who have won. So next, I just want to take a minute to talk about the election results, because they influence, obviously, in some cases, who's going to be on the ballot in November. So where there is a runoff, it's going to influence who is on the ballot in November. Now, votes are still being counted. This is not over yet, but in most cases, we have some idea who is going to be going through to November. So, and in some cases, who has won. So it appears that in San Diego City, District 4, we do indeed have a winner. The winner is Henry Foster. So that race will not be going on until November, because it was a special election. Yes, congratulations to all those who helped him out, and to our party for endorsing him. And there, okay. In Chula Vista, the races are going on till, well, in San Diego City, well, let me see if I can do San Diego. I'll just do this one first. Okay. So in all other San Diego City races that are not special elections, the top two are going on. So for mayor of San Diego, our endorsed candidate, Todd Gloria, will be facing off against a non-Democrat, Larry Turner. The San Diego City Attorney race continues to be two Democrats. Our endorsed candidate is Brian Mainshine and Heather Ferber. They are both going on to the general election. Like I said, Brian is our endorsed candidate. Heather is another Democrat in the race. We have Joe LaCava as the only candidate for District 1. For San Diego City Council District 3, it appears that it's going to be, again, these votes are still being counted, but most cases, there's not going to be much chance that this changes. Stephen Whipern, who is our endorsed Democratic incumbent, is going to take on Colleen Cusack, who is also a Democrat in the race. Those will be the top 2 vote getters. This one, because it's a special election, it's a short-term election, Henry Foster is going to be seated. There will not be a runoff. District 5, Marnie Van Wilpert, our Democratic incumbent, does not have an opponent. She and Raul Campillo. So these 2 will not be on the November ballot. They will be decided because there was no opponent. San Diego City Council, District 9, we have Sean Elo Rivera, who is a Democrat. I do not believe that Terry Hoskins is a Democrat. This is the only Democrat who will be going on in November. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I understand. Additionally, in Chula Vista, this race is now decided. Marco Verdugo has defeated Bart Mansfield. This one is not going on to November because it was a special election. For the ones that were not a special elections, we have Michael Insunza and Leticia Manguia going on for District 3. Both are Democrats. Our endorsed candidate is Michael Insunza. And in Chula Vista District 4, we also appear to have 2 Democrats going on to the November race. Cesar Fernandez is our endorsed Democratic candidate, and Rudy Ramirez is the other Democrat in the race. So these 2 will be continuing. At least, again, that's as it appears. Vote totals could change. There are still outstanding votes being counted, and the number of outstanding votes being counted is only 10,000. So it's unlikely at this point that these votes will change. At the state level, we are pleased to announce that. So I don't actually have the state results pulled up here, and some of these crossover areas, but Akila Weber has gotten 60%. I don't believe there's a runoff in that case, and someone can correct me. I think if you get over 50% in a 2-person race at the state level, it is over in March. So, and again, feel free to correct me. So Laura Davies and Chris Duncan, this would mean that Laura Davies, okay, this is only for the 74. So I don't, the issue with some of these is they're across 2 districts, and I don't have the link to the state one pulled up yet. I can put that in the chat later. But if clubs want to look. So in the 75th, it doesn't look like we are going to have a Democrat advancing in that race. It's going to be Carl DeMaio and Andrew Hayes, both of which are Republicans. In the 76th, it looks like that our Democrat advancing is our endorsed Democratic candidate, Darshana Patel. She will be facing Christy Bruce Lane. And this is going to be, you can see this is 49%. So this is going to be a very highly competitive election. So I'm going to encourage clubs to help our endorsed Democratic candidate, because this is going to be very, very close in the upcoming November election. We have Tasha Borner Horvath, who has gotten 56% against James Brown. So again, someone could correct me, but I believe if you get over 50%, those are decided in March. Okay. So, then for state assembly, it appears that Colin Parent and Lachey Sharp Collins are advancing. Lachey Sharp Collins, they are both Democrats, and Lachey Sharp Collins is endorsed. Then for the 80th, David Alvarez has won his race. Again, I believe if you got more than 50% in a 2-person race at the state level, it does not advance to November. So, yeah. And lastly, unfortunately for judges, it looks like our Democratic candidates did not win. If someone gets more than 50% in March, that person is appointed, is seated, not appointed, seated. So it appears that Brian Erickson and Valerie Summers have won those positions. They were not Democrats in the race. So, okay. Board of Education, Sabrina Basso it appears she has won her race. Maria Jamison, it appears she has won her race. Richard Barrera had no opponent. Sharon Whitehurst Payne had no opponent. Okay. So is there any other races that people would like to highlight or that clubs should know about? Now, I'm especially highlighting the races where there are still 2 Democrats in the race, because those are club races where clubs, if you've not already done endorsement consideration, may want to do an endorsement consideration and invite those Democrats that are in the runoff. So is there any other races locally that someone would like to highlight? Danny, your hand is raised.
Yeah, I would just like to highlight the supervisor race for District 3,
Okay.
given that they were not on the ballot, and maybe you might want to highlight why they weren't on the ballot.
I'm blanking at this moment. Would you like to
That,
say that?
yeah, sure.
Which,
That is Tara Lawson-Remer against
yes.
Kevin Faulkner, and
Thank
they
you.
didn't go off into the general because it was only 2 candidates.
That's right.
So you'll see them on your November ballots.
Yes.
A very
And
competitive and important race.
thank you very, very much. Greg, is there a race that you'd like to highlight that I have missed here?
Yeah, 2 Democrats running for the County Board of Education, seat 4.
Okay.
Similarly to what was just described in a county office, if there's only 2 candidates, it goes on to the general. There's no primary, but it will be taking place in November with 2 Dems running in that particular race.
Wonderful. And I was just about to get to those races that were not on our primary ballot, but are going to be in November, because it's important now that we are considering those as well, right? Endorsements are coming quickly at all the caucuses for these races where an endorsement has not yet taken place. So if clubs want to get their voice in before the endorsement takes place, you would want to check here. And why is nothing suddenly showing up on these? Okay. Okay, here we go. So there are races like Tara Lawson-Remer where it is going to be in November, but it was not on our ballot in March. So I've put in our club agenda here, candidates for November. This is the sheet, and I've been asked to highlight this, where you can see candidates on the ballot in November in different races across the county that are Democrats. So this is, you can see here for county offices, Board of Supervisors in November, we're going to have on the ballot Nora Vargas, who is our endorsed Democratic candidate in District 1. District 2 is Gina Jacobs. She's our endorsed Democratic candidate. District 3 is Tara Lawson-Remer. And they've all been endorsed. This blue check mark means they've already been endorsed by the party. So anywhere you see this blue check mark, it means they've been endorsed. A star means they're an incumbent. So if you want to go here and look for your club and say, which of these are relevant to my area or my club's interest that we may want to consider. Clubs can consider a single Democrat in the race. My club often does. It's a chance to get the candidate in there to talk about our issues, and for us to say, not only they're a good Democrat, they are also a good Democrat in the case of the Blue Dream Dems when it comes to cannabis advocacy. So, so these are our Democrats that are endorsed by the party already, but they can also secondarily get an endorsement from your club. We also have here Mr. Greg Robinson. He is running for Board of Education. He will be on the ballot in November. He would love to speak to your club. And we have District 2, Guadalupe Gonzalez. She is also an incumbent, and she has also already been endorsed. Some of the races in November, and some of the important races in November, do not yet have an endorsement made by the party. These will be upcoming. One of these is in Carlsbad. We have 2 Democratic candidates running. That's one where we want to make sure your voice is heard. District 4, we have an incumbent. She has already been endorsed. A lot of the incumbent seats have been endorsed already because they were simpler for the party to endorse. When it's an open seat, generally speaking, the party waits a little bit to give clubs a chance for input, or at least that's our goal. So in Del Mar, we have 3 seats at large, 2 are incumbents, and we're still waiting. We don't yet know who the other Democratic candidate is in the race. In El Cajon, we have 3 council seats, and we have Mohammed Rahimi. He is running for City Council District 4, has not yet been endorsed, and there may be other Democratic candidates that join these races. The filing deadline is August, but you know, for getting started for November, it's good to have already filed your paperwork. So he is in District 4. Encinitas, we have Mayor Tony Krantz. He has not yet been endorsed, but he is an incumbent. And we have 2 Democrats running in the 2 council districts, 1 in each, Allison Blackwell and Destiny Preston. Now, as we've talked about in many meetings, the rules for club endorsement are different when there is multiple Democrats in the race versus a single Democrat in the race. When it comes to clubs, the bylaws do not give preference to an incumbent. All Democratic candidates need to be considered. However, if there's one Democratic candidate, whether or not they are an incumbent, A club does not have the same requirements for their club representative to vote. So for example, I'm just picking this one out. I'm picking up on this one. So Destiny Preston is not an incumbent, but she is in District 2. Because as long as she remains the only Democrat in the race, the club associate can vote at their regional level without the club holding an endorsement. However, the second more than one Democrat is in a race, the endorsement rules kick in, which they mean you have to invite all Democrats, 14 days notice, 5 business days notice to the candidate, and turning in your endorsement form 48 hours in advance. So when there's a single Democrat in the race, these rules are relaxed because it's not actually competitive amongst Democrats. So even though Destiny Preston is not an incumbent, the same rules would apply to her as Allison Blackwell, who is. Okay. So in the case of La Mesa, we have 2 seats at large and we have 2 candidates. In Lemon Grove, at this time, we have 1 mayoral candidate. That may change. And we have 2 seats at the city council, and we have 2 candidates, one of which is an incumbent, George Gastel. In National City at this time, we have 2 incumbents running, and we have not yet heard of any opponents to those incumbents. We have a competitive race in Oceanside, District 4. So this one is another one where all the endorsement rules apply. Okay. Poway, we are looking for Democratic candidates. If you know who's running Poway, if you know of a candidate who's running for any of these seats where we say city council blank, any seat that is listed here that does not yet have a Democrat, please contact clubs@sddemocrats.org. That allows Moral, who's the staff member, and myself to know who those candidates are so we can put them out here so that clubs can get in touch with them. So again, where you see a race but not a Democratic candidate, if you know of a Democrat who is planning on running in that race, please let us know ASAP, because we want to be in touch with that candidate. The party as a whole wants to be in touch with that candidate so that they can offer to guide them, so that they can work to make sure, the party tries to not split votes whenever possible. So they want to work with, the party wants to work with the candidate, and clubs want to know the candidate. So if you know a candidate that we don't in any of these open seats, please let us know at your earliest possible convenience, because we want to know who the Democrats in the race are. Okay. San Marcos, we have Alan Gerasi running. In Oceanside, we also have a second competitive race. This is for treasurer. Same rules apply. Even though there is an incumbent, you have to invite all Democrats to the consideration. All Democrats need to be considered with the same notification of members of 14 days, 5 weeks for the candidate, and 48 hours before the regional caucus submit the results of your endorsement. Solana Beach, we have Mayor Lisa Huebner is running for re-election, and council members David Zito and Jewel Edison are both running for re-election. They've all been endorsed by the party already, but if you're a club and you want to hear from them, you can also secondarily give them your club's endorsement and invite them for an endorsement. Okay. In Vista, for Council District 2, we have 2 candidates listed, Chris Reese and Anthony White. We had an open question about whether Chris Reese is still running. Narima, your hand is raised. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we had an open question about whether Chris Reese was still running. And then our incumbent in District 3, Katie Melendez, is running for re-election, and she has been endorsed by the party. Community college boards, we don't know who's running for these community college board seats yet. So if you know, please let us know. Southwestern Community College does have 2 candidates already declared. The incumbent for seat 2, Chris Galicia Brown, and seat 3, Nicholas Segura. Okay. School boards in general. We have a lot of school boards that we don't yet know who are running. We want to know who's running. Please let us know if you know. Carlsbad Unified School Board, we have Allison Emery for Area 2 and Area 3. We don't yet know who's running. Chula Vista Elementary School Board, we have 2 seats. Seat 4 has 2 candidates already. Kate Bishop declared and Alexis Avina. Kate is incumbent, but the rules of multiple candidates do apply, as we've explained in other races. Seat 2, we don't yet have any candidates declared, according to this sheet. I thought we did, but okay. So Coronado Unified School Board, there are 2 seats at large, and there is Whitney Antrim has declared. Again, we have 2 seats. There's opportunities there. Dehesa, we need people. Del Mar Union School Board, 3 seats at large. Erica Halpern and Jiwa Mock have declared, and we could use another candidate. So clubs are a place where we know a lot of people in our community. If you're looking at these races in your community, and the farther down ballot, the more important this becomes, we want you to be suggesting to your club members, right? If you see, as we go lower and lower on this ballot, I'm going to go back to school board members in a minute, but as we go lower and lower in this ballot, special districts, we need candidates. Look at all these special districts with no candidate. If you live in any one of these districts, if your club's area, geographic area encompasses any one of these districts, please let us know who might want to run, because we oftentimes don't have a candidate for a seat, especially out in East County and the rural areas, and we lose by default because we don't have a candidate. So if you are looking at this list with me and thinking, I know this amazing person to run for this school board, to run for this special election, please let us know. So continuing down the list, at Del Mar, we have 3 seats available, and Erica Halpern and Jiwa Mock. And Sanitas, we have 3 seats, and we have 2 candidates, 2 of which are incumbents, 1 of which has been endorsed. We still need 1 for the 3rd seat. Escondido, we have Juan Manuel Vargas, who's been running an excellent campaign for Area 3 for quite some time, but we still need someone for Area 1. Escondido, we do not have any seats for the Union High School. We don't have any candidates that we are yet aware of for the Union High School board. Fallbrook Union Elementary School Board, we have 2 incumbents who have already been endorsed, and we do not yet have someone for Area 4. Fallbrook Union High School Board, Oscar Carlampio and Eddie Jones, they have already been endorsed and they are incumbents. Grossmont Union High School, Jay Steger is our endorsed candidate. He does not have an opponent. In Hamul, Del Sura, we don't yet have anyone. Julian, do not yet have anyone. La Mesa. And there may be a candidate out there, but that's why we want you to let us know as soon as possible, because we also don't want other people looking for candidates and causing conflicts when we don't need them. So if you're aware of candidates, again, please let us know so we can put them on here so your fellow club members don't go out looking to recruit something for a seat we already have a candidate for. Okay, Lemon Grove School Board, Yahaira Preciado and Cheryl Robinson are both incumbents. They have not yet been endorsed by the county. And you're seeing a lot. I can't read all of these. I'll kind of try. Mountain Empire Unified, National City School Board, Oceanside. None of these have someone declared yet. And I do see a few hands up. I'm just going to get through this and then you can correct me. Oceanside Unified School Board, Poway Unified School Board. We only have 1. Devesh Vishishpa, I hope I said that right. Area A. We do not have a candidate for Area E. Ramona Unified School Board, no candidates. Rancho Santa Fe School Board, no candidates. San Diego Unified School Board. This seems incorrect. I believe we have for San Diego Unified School Board candidates. I believe this is a typo. San Diego Union High School Board. We do not have any candidates declared. San Marcos Unified, we have Carlos Ulloa, Sarah Ahmad, and Jamie Chamberlain. They are all incumbents. They're all running for re-election. Santee, no candidates declared. San Pascual, no candidates declared. San Isidro, no candidates declared. Santee School Board, again, this feels like a typo. It's listed twice. Solana Beach, no candidates declared. South Bay, no candidates declared. Spencer Valley Unified, no candidates declared. Sweetwater Union High School Board, no candidates declared. Vallecito School Board, no candidates declared. Valley Center, Palma, no school candidates declared. And Vista Unified School Board, we have 2 incumbents in Area 4. Cipriano Vargas has already been endorsed by the party. In Area 5, Julie Kelly, who is the incumbent. Lastly, Warner School Board, no candidates declared. Okay, now I'm ready for people to correct me. Kate, you can go first.
I have a lot of candidates that are not listed there. That
Wonderful.
are already declared for sure. I
Okay,
can
please.
just give a list to Maral, but
That
what
would
I
be
wanted
wonderful.
to say was, in terms of school board candidate or potential candidates, the San Diego Democratic Education Alliance is having a school board candidate training on March 30th. And so we would love if anybody knows anybody who is even thinking about dipping their toe in the water to join us for this school board candidate training. It's a great training. We've had it twice before, and people have come away with it saying it's the best training that they've had, because it really dials down on school board specific issues within the conversation as well. So I just wanted to put that out there.
Okay, wonderful. And I see here you put a lot of corrections in the chat here. Lucy Ugarte is running for re-election in C2. That's what I thought. I didn't want to say anything, but because I wasn't sure, but she is a Democrat. She is in that seat. So
it's weird because there's information on the Airtable of candidates that don't appear on this.
Wonderful.
So I think
okay.
maybe it just needs to be updated or something. I'm not sure. But
yeah.
The Airtable has more information than this does.
We're going to be in the Airtable in just a second. That was the next thing we were going to review after this list. So I appreciate a lot of people have put good information in the chat. I'm going to be forwarding all that information on to Maral, who maintains this page. And keep me in the loop as well. So if you wouldn't mind, Kate, on that list you were sending to Maral, if you would also include me. I follow up sometimes and notice things and work with Maral to keep this up to date. So sure. I appreciate it. Okay, Nadia, your hand is raised. You are recognized.
Hi, everyone. I think it's a good idea when we put these out to our clubs to encourage people to run, to remind them that things such as the water boards don't really have limits, which is why we have a lot of realtors that are on our water board, especially Otay Water Board. A lot of Republicans, they put a lot of money behind that. So whenever we encourage people to run, it's a good idea just to remind them of the limits on some of these, so they don't get overwhelmed and then leave the party because they get kind of dejected by whatever results they have. We want to encourage them to be a part of everything.
Yes, thank you. Okay, Georgine. You're on mute, Georgine.
Sorry. I just wanted you to correct the Escondido Union High School Board, because there is another race, and that's for D5. We ran a candidate for D5. We were not successful, but it's you're doing, the high school board, Yeah. Yeah. And the term is, the election that we just had is from March until November. And so there's going to be another race for Area 5 this year. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes, it does. If you wouldn't mind putting that information in the chat, I'm going to be passing all of this on to Maral, and big old list of all
and I will do that. Okay.
Great, thank you. Narima?
Yes, I'm asking for a clarification because I'm not really sure the definition is correct for friendly incumbent endorsement. So if we have an appointed person in the city, appointed city council member who was not a Democrat, but has served a term and now is running as a Democrat, would you consider that candidate as a friendly incumbent endorsement? Because I don't believe that person wasn't a Democrat and was appointed, it should be considered a friendly incumbent endorsement.
So we don't really have a concept for the clubs of friendly incumbent endorsement. What we have are races with one Democrat and races with multiple Democrats. So the party has their friendly incumbent process, but that doesn't extend to the club. The way the rules, the bylaws are written for the clubs, if there's multiple Democrats in the race, you invite them, you consider them, etc. There is no separate friendly incumbent process. So if that person is the only Democrat in the race, then the rules around the endorsement are more relaxed than if there are multiple Democrats in the race, and that's that. Now, whether the party separately in their endorsement procedure at the regional caucus and the central committee consider that person to be a friendly incumbent? Yes, they would. I've seen this before where someone switches to Democrat and they're running for re-election and they're an incumbent. They are considered a friendly incumbent by the party. But again, for the sake of the clubs, that concept isn't really relevant because it's either a race with one Democrat or a race with multiple Democrats. And we treat incumbents in that situation in the same way we would treat any Democrat. So Nadia? Okay, so with that in mind, just going to really quickly, again, look at these special districts. These districts are important. As Nadia pointed out, though, if you get an opponent who's got lots of money and just really, really wants to sit on it, there are no limits. So they could make it into office. But oftentimes these offices are even appointed, or no one really runs, or someone just puts their name on the ballot and wins because they're the only person who ran. So it's a crapshoot, like everything, right? There's really easy races and there's really hard races. So if you know of somebody who wants to run, we have community planning districts, fire protection districts, water districts. These are all important. They're all important functions that need people. And if these areas, Cuyamaca, Deer Springs, Descanso, Fairbanks, often unincorporated districts that don't have a city council, these are really kind of the governing bodies of these districts. If your club's geography or interest overlaps these areas, please encourage people to run. We recognize it's an uphill climb sometimes if you find yourself against someone with deep pockets or an incumbent, but it also can be a very easy climb. You may be the only person on the ballot, and it may just be you and another name, and voters are going to pick by a name. Nothing wrong with fielding candidates where candidates are needed. So Rob, your hand is raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask and clarify, when there is no limit, my understanding is that they fall under the state limit for races of 5,500 for the individual donations.
I think you're correct.
I mean,
Thank you.
5,500.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
I'll take it. Thank you.
So thank you for that clarification. I'm doing my best to inform others. There's a lot to know. Sometimes I'm not going to get it completely correct either. So, and then sometimes you will have very competitive races. So this Grossmont healthcare race has been very competitive. And then you're going to have at the same time, no one yet for zone 5, no one for zone 1, and very competitive in zone 3. It's a bit of a roll of the dice. Helix Water District, we have 2 incumbents and we don't have anyone for Division 5. And also, if you're looking at, okay, I have a friend or someone who wants to run, speak to the people that are already on that board. Mark Grasick, for example, is someone who is very accessible, and he may know of someone that wants to run for Division 5 already. So if there's a candidate who is interested in running, the first person besides the party I would suggest they talk to would be their fellow Democratic incumbent board members, because they will have a better lay of the land and a better lay of the race than others. So again, community planning, service districts, fire protection districts, wastewater districts, these are extremely down ballot races that can be won by putting your name on the ballot or lost, in the same fashion. We need people that are willing to serve and willing to do public service, because you do get kind of extremist people oftentimes that want to serve on these, whose idea is to cut public services, that they don't like taxes. And we need other people that counter that and say, no, water should be affordable, if not free, to all residents, right? So I'm just, again, encouraging people to field people to run in these races. So the last part of this little presentation is the candidate contact sheet. So this here is just telling everybody, what races are out there that your club may want to consider and interview candidates for and help us recruit candidates for. Now, let's say your club has decided that they want to weigh in on one of those races. How do they contact the candidates? sddems.link/candidate contact. This is the candidate contact information that the party has available for the candidates in a race. If we are aware of candidates in a race, their information will be listed on this candidate contact form. If you are, again, if you're aware of a candidate in a race, please let us know. Please let us know their contact info as well. We aren't going to list anyone's candidate contact info without first speaking to them, but we need to know their candidate contact info to even reach them. And then from there, you know what, this was embedded, but it wasn't showing the race they were in. So that's, okay, this is looking a little different. Oh, it is showing the race they were in. Okay, it's not showing the cycle they are in, because I'm still seeing for Chula Vista. Okay, this is a bit more confusing than it was before. Yeah, so before, the way we had it was we had it by race, we had it by cycle, and I'm not seeing that here. I know Maral was playing with this a little bit this morning, and I'm hoping we're going to go back and see that. Okay, election, there we go, that's useful. This is, let's sort by election. Okay, add another sort. This is a little more confusing than it was before, so I may ask her if we can put it back, because we want to see, we need to see this grouping information by candidates. So this is the candidates for each race that we are aware of. Again, there may be further candidates, but if we're not aware of them, we can't have them on this sheet. So as soon as someone is running, we want their information. We want to contact them and ask them permission to put their information on the sheet so that clubs know how to contact. And this is where you can go and look for that. Again, this was a little more readable before today. So I'm going to work with Maral to maybe put it back in a more readable format where we're grouping this by election cycle and by race. Right now, that grouping doesn't appear to be there. So Hugh? You're on mute, Hugh.
Yeah, sorry. So I have a question about the situation. So we have a candidate in a race. He's the only candidate right now, and he wants to be endorsed by our club. How long should we wait? I mean, there might be another candidate that comes in later. So what would be the best practice for that?
Well, it has to do with when the party is going to take it up. Like, we as clubs want to consider all candidates, and we want to give all candidates an opportunity, generally speaking, to pick the best candidate. However, there is a party endorsement calendar, which we're going to be talking about later on today. And that party endorsement calendar, will dictate that you need to do these endorsements prior to when the regional caucus does them. So what many clubs tend to do is wait till the last meeting they can before the regional caucus meeting, and then do the endorsement. However, you can't do so many endorsements at a single meeting. So it's always a balancing act. We want to do it as soon as possible, especially if there's a really good candidate in the race, or because we want to be ahead of the party endorsement calendar. Or we want to wait a little longer, but that could put you behind the party endorsement calendar, and it would mean that you wouldn't have the same weight in your vote when you're there with the regional caucus. So I know that's not the best answer, but those are the factors to consider. You want to be ahead of the party endorsement calendar so that your representative gets a vote at the regional caucus. But obviously, you want to have a feel for the race before you do it. It's getting late. We're now in March. The filing deadline closes in August. Hopefully, serious candidates will be declaring this month or next, because if they're waiting till the filing deadline to declare, that's going to be tight. Yeah. I'm hoping that people get declared quickly, because it is also kind of a sign of the seriousness of their candidacy, because it takes time to run, as we all know. So Carol, your hand is raised and you are recognized.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I had a question about one of the races. I know, and I live in the San Diego School District, and I have a son that graduated there. And I had a question about what Kate Bishop had mentioned, the San Diego Democratic Education Alliance. That's a training for school boards. I would just be more interested in that. And then I had a question also is, how involved does labor get in some of these school board races? I guess that would be a question for Greg.
Ooh, can I field that one?
Yes.
Sure, why not? Go for it. And I'm going to put the information you gave me for the training to everyone.
Great. I'm still waiting for my VP to send me the actual Zoom link for it. Sorry. So San Diego already does have an incumbent in Katrina. She's there for sure running again. I'm not sure about the other seat, but our candidate training is on excuse me, sorry. I'm still sick. Our candidate training is on at 10 a.m. on March 30th. It's a Saturday. I think it's 2 Saturdays away. And we go over absolutely everything you need to be a candidate. Absolutely everything. Plus, we cover information about being on school board. So if you need a comprehensive training, I highly recommend coming. It's on Zoom and it's really easy to attend. In fact, I trained my opponent. Her team came to our training in November and has done very well with my information. But yeah, those are the two, that's the information I can give you. And in terms of union involvement, the teachers union and the classified union will usually want to weigh in on any candidates that step up for school board. And that's one of those things where you're going to need to contact them directly. If you are a candidate, you need to reach out to those union representatives. And it's not as hard as you'd think if you are going to school board meetings, because they will probably be there.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Greg, your hand is raised. Would you like to add something to this?
Yeah, I sure would. Yes, actually, it's interesting, Kate. I'm part of a coalition of progressive school board people. You've been to some of our meetings. We actually have a summit going on as well on the 23rd of this month. Maybe we can try and coordinate a little bit. But more specifically, we'll have training specifically how to address the issue of dealing with unions. Because obviously, I'm very involved in the union movement. We'll have leaders from the union movement there. And it's so important when you're running for a school board to make sure you go through the unions, because they'll have both the resources, but more importantly, the education and the background of some of the complex issues we're facing. I know at my board that's the case, but the union should often be your first place to contact, because if you get cross-wired in that situation, it can be real difficult for you. So we will have that kind of similar training. It's interesting, we're both thinking the same way, particularly oriented around the union-based issues on the 23rd. And I'll send it out to everybody as well.
Thanks.
And the candidate contact sheet that was in the slides, but I will also go ahead and put it in the chat so people have it. Candidate, it's very useful. I use it all the time. Contact sheet. And again, sometimes we have candidates who say, hey, why is my information not on the contact sheet? Let us know. We want that contact information to be in the candidate sheet. It's probably because we don't have it yet. So, okay. Any other questions about the upcoming races, how to reach these candidates, how to determine what candidates your club may want to consider, etc.? Okay. So our next session was going to be mobilizing the election year, welcoming back those who took a break. The moderator for this part is Justin Domicello. He's having some internet issues. So I think at this point, we're going to postpone it a little bit. If he's able to jump on, we'll do that shortly. If not, we can postpone this to the next, because he's really prepared the material for that. So, okay. Carol, your hand is still raised. Is there something? Okay. So up next is Club of the Year. We originally had anticipated having this vote in March, but there was a lack of. We haven't been able to organize around this as much as we would have liked because of the election. Everyone was very busy, and so the club nomination committee asked if we could delay. So the club nomination committee is made up of the past 5 years winners, current club's current presidents. So it is Ryan Tribuco for Democrats for Equality, AAPI, Dr. Indranil Banerjee, who has been on this call, but he's also he's also at a conference, so he's been jumping on and off. Escondido Young Democrats, that's Justin, who's, well, the president is Gloria Conejo. and Justin is usually her representative to the clubs. Pacific Beach Democratic Club and Fallbrook. Pacific Beach is president is Hannah Bingham and Fallbrook is Ross Pike. So these are the nominating committee. Basically, the nominating committee is looking for great clubs to suggest for Club of the Year. The actual Club of the Year vote will take place at the Council of Clubs this meeting next month. And what we will be doing was we will be evaluating which club we think is for Club of the Year. It has been suggested that this year we do 2 clubs of the year, one for an affinity club and one for your geographic club. I left that the purview of the nominating committee if they want to recommend that. I'm absolutely fine with it. We have so many great clubs. I'm always happy to honor more than one. So the clubs are evaluated on, has set an example for other clubs through innovative programs, community outreach, political influence, growth, and positive impact on the community. Each club can prepare a end of the year report. And most clubs that want to submit for Club of the Year do prepare such an end of the year report. So what clubs do is they prepare a PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint we recommend include this information, which is the number of meeting held, number of new member gained, number of members renewal. And it isn't all just about numbers. It's also about what you've done in the community. So it's the activities you've participated in. It's your participation at Council of Clubs with Go Team, with when was, what types of programming you've had. So, you know, we have some metrics on this, but it's also a question of efforts. So it's a bit subjective, but we do want to have at least one club that we honor. We honor the club at the Roosevelt Dinner. This year's Roosevelt Dinner will be in May. So April is our absolute last month to consider clubs for Club of the Year. So if your club would like to be Club of the Year, you can nominate yourself. The submission form is here, or someone else can nominate you. Last year, we had a mix of clubs that were nominated by others and self-nominated. There is nothing wrong with saying, hey, I have a really great club. We would like to be to be nominated. So I'm going to go ahead and put that Club of the Year nomination form in the chat. And Dr. Banerjee, I've seen you joined. Is there anything you would like to say on behalf of the Club of the Year nominating committee about the Club of the Year consideration? Because yeah, I know that you're a part of that.
So I would absolutely say get your applications in to everyone, and apologize for jumping on and off. I'm at a conference offsite at UCLA and my connection sucks, but yeah, I would say get your submissions in. The committee is going to be meeting shortly. Sonara, I know you and I need to cycle back on that and talk about timelines, but I think, yeah, everything so far is just get your applications in.
Get your application in and start work. If you're a club that has nominated itself or is being nominated for Club of the Year, start your presentation, because those are the 2 things. The presentations, I believe last year we gave the clubs about 10 minutes per presentation. So look to do a presentation of about 10 minutes. And those presentations, that's what we're going to be doing next meeting. It's all going to be all about our amazing clubs and their presentations.
And Sonara, I'm happy to make the API Dem Club presentation available to anyone who asks, if they need a template.
Great. Yeah. Yes, that sounds wonderful. Okay.
All right. I apologize again. I need to drop off, but thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Next on our meeting agenda is the upcoming endorsement considerations by the regional caucuses. Just real fast, today in a few minutes, we are going to have the North Inland and North Coastal caucuses. They are starting shortly. So for these, your club will have had to have submitted 48 hours in advance your results for races where there are more than 2 Democrats. So these are starting shortly. If you're a club, there's a lot to do as a club. Not only do we have to submit 48 hours in advance who our club has endorsed in contested races, then our representative also has to show up and vote. So I've had cases where, you know, we worked so hard. We notified all the candidates. We notified our members with 14 days in advance. We did our endorsement. We got our endorsement paper. And then our associate had connection issues. And we still didn't get a vote. So really important to make sure your associate also is at the meeting to actually cast their vote. Because even though the party knows how the club should vote. If you vote, your vote is still only counted if your associate attends. So for these, all I can say is if you would like to weigh in on any of these endorsement races, especially ones that have multiple candidates, make sure your rep shows up today. For races without multiple candidates, as long as your rep shows up today, they can vote if there's a single Democrat in the race, even if your club has not considered it. Now, coming up on 4/8, this is the South Area Caucus will have considering a friendly incumbent designation. This is designation. This is not the so this is this is the friendly incumbent designation. And even for friendly incumbent designation, the club has to have held a vote. So if there's multiple candidates. So in the case of Lucy Ugarte, there's only one candidate. And so it's interesting she's on here, but not on the other sheet. So we do know about her. So your club representative can vote in this one without having held a vote. In these, at this time, we're only aware of one candidate. I have heard rumors that there may be another candidate. The candidate needs to declare and let the party know as soon as possible if that other candidate is planning on entering for National City or any other place, because again, clubs are going to consider the candidates that they are aware of. And also friendly incumbent designation for Matthew. This is a contested race. Even though it's a friendly incumbent designation by the party, clubs will need to have held a vote prior to 4/8 and submitted their endorsement forms prior to April 6th. Okay. So North Area Caucus, same thing. If it's uncontested, if there's only one Democrat in the race, your club associate can vote. If there's multiple Democrats in the race, even if it is a friendly incumbent designation, we need your club to have held a vote on that race. So this is the North Coastal Caucus. We'll be considering these races at that time. I'm also aware that there are some races being considered in May by the North Coastal Caucus, specifically Carlsbad City Council race. I know that's being considered in May. So this is what is on our endorsement spreadsheet so far. I am always haranguing the vice chairs to let us know what other upcoming things they have, because clubs need to know in advance. So we know what's coming up through 4/20. Clearly, there are far more races than that here. At this point, if you've got races to get through, if you've got races that are important to your club, schedule those votes now for May and June and July, because by August, it will be too late. All these special ones, assume these are coming up by August. You want to start holding these races as soon as possible, even if they're not yet on the endorsement timesheet. You want your club to have these races done as soon as possible, even if you don't see them here. If you see them here, do them as soon as possible. But even if you don't see them there, again, we're getting towards, we've only going to have about, well, it's March now. We're going to have April, May, June, July. So that's 4 more meetings maximum before the party votes on all of these races. And if you want to have your club to have a voice and a vote in advance of the party, whether or not you see it on the endorsement timeline yet, start thinking about it. So I know it's a little bit of work. It's always a little bit of work for me, but you got to compare what's here to what's here and decide what you want your club to weigh in on. So, okay. And that link again is SD-Dem's link /timeline. Does anyone have any questions about this? Okay. Hearing none, we're on to recommend a speaker. So we have our suggested speakers. We do right now, we're very kind of focused on endorsements because that's coming up, but clubs also need to do something besides just endorsements, or I can speak from experience, your club members get burned out. They want to hear about democratic issues and have democratic speakers. So this is a list that we maintain of suggested speakers that have spoken to other clubs that people thought were good speakers and worth recommending to other clubs. If you have a speaker that you would like to recommend, let me do a full screen here. There we go. So hopefully this will work better. Aha. Feel free to talk about them now, and feel free to put them on this form. This is a form to suggest a speaker. You suggest a speaker here, and it becomes added to the suggest a speaker. Would anyone like to speak about a speaker that they've recently had that they think other people should hear from? Any great speakers out there that Democrats want to know? Okay, Danny, your hand is raised.
I know this organization or this effort has been going around doing lots of presentations already, but if you haven't, the Power San Diego folks, which is an initiative to municipalize our energy structure here in San Diego, are doing presentations to the local clubs, and I highly suggest allowing them to speak to your club about this initiative that could be on the ballot.
Yes. Do you want to put
That's
their
all.
contact info in this chat? At one point, I asked them for
I
contact info, and they said they were switching people, so they were going to get
Okay.
back to me, and then they didn't. So I want people to know about them as well. So if
Yeah.
you wouldn't mind putting what contact info you have in the chat, I'll reach back out again.
All right. Thanks.
Okay. Any other great speakers people would like to suggest? Okay. I have a suggestion. I've been working with a group. It's called the STRO Working Group. But our work is on limiting Airbnbs because of the effect it has on housing and the housing crisis. So right now that group has been speaking primarily to community planning groups, but I would like to start inviting them to Democratic clubs so they can speak on the impact the proliferation of Airbnb has had on the cost of housing in our coastal communities. This is something that's near and dear to my heart. I live in Ocean Beach. We now have 6% of our housing units are Airbnb. That may not sound like much, but it's enough that it has drastically raised the rent. Oftentimes those units are single studio apartments, which were, prior to being converted into Airbnb, the most affordable housing in Ocean Beach. Now we have entire buildings of Airbnb hotels. So those 12 units, this is on my street, real example, that were previously low-income housing, studio apartments, is now an Airbnb hotel. And we have lots of examples of this. And so we are working with the city, advocating to the city to limit Airbnbs, to enforce the current Airbnb ordinance. And I know a lot of people here from coastal communities. Please reach out to me. I would love to plug our group in with your group for a presentation. Danny, your hand is raised. Okay, Nadia, your hand is raised.
I was wondering if anybody had suggestions for speakers on the marijuana industry and how we can bring in groups and how to function that through, like what we should look through in terms of what city council is considering. I know in National City, they had a group that was amazing, that was all female activists, and they were trying to open their own boutique that was women-led, BIPOC-led. And I'd love to know if anybody has any speakers that would be able to open us up to how we can benefit from the marijuana industry coming into our communities.
Great. I can recommend some right off the bat. I'm the president of the Blue Dream Democratic Club, so this is our this is our area. I would recommend Armand King and Terry Best. Armand has been working on social equity in the marijuana industry. He's a active member of our club around San Diego. And yeah, he's very up to date on what's happening in San Diego City at the county. I call him and he immediately, especially where it's social equity concern, lets me know. Same I can say for Terry Best. She is a longtime, well, she's past president, longtime member of Americans for Safe Access. Did a lot of work pushing back against the prosecutions by Bonnie Dumanis. She and Armand are working together on Roll Up for Equity campaign in San Diego City. And I'm actually working with them on the county on social equity. So they're both great speakers that have a lot of great information that are happy to share and getting people plugged into what they can do in their communities. So I would happily recommend that. And thank you for suggesting it. I will put the speakers that I know on these boards so that other people can find them. So anyone else? Any other thoughts?
I or members of my club would be willing to talk about attacks on school boards if any clubs are curious about hearing about the shenanigans that still happen in our local school boards. We are willing to go to any club and speak if anyone's interested.
Who are you, please?
I'm sorry, my name is Kate Bishop. I'm the president of the San Diego Democratic Education Alliance. We focus entirely on school boards.
And that is a big issue in East County, so I'm glad this connection is being made. So okay, so Kate has put in the chat the registration for the school board training. So I'm going to go ahead and send that out to everyone. What day is the school board training, Kate?
March 30th at 10 a.m.
March 30th at 10 a.m. via Zoom. Okay, so there it goes. There's to everyone. And Kate, what is the contact info? You want to put the contact info in the chat about school board thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. With that in mind, on to other announcements. Does anyone have an announcement? This is where candidates can announce. We have candidates on the line. Or other announcements, community announcement? Okay, Nadia, your hand is raised.
I take up so much space. I'm so sorry. I came here today. I am no longer the president of East Lake Benita Dems. I want to clarify that. That is wonderful, Robert Espinoza. But I'm coming on behalf of him just to get the information for him as he gathers his ways. But I'd like to announce that due to the school board attacks, we have reached out to Pride because Trans Family Support Services received a huge grant on Stop the Hate of $300,000, and they are going to be training parents on what their specific rights are. And then Pride is going to be organizing. So what we're going to do is we have a group that is going to get together, and they're specifically going to create an organizational frame for communities to be able to gather together and go out to these school boards and be able to create a real impact. Pride is asking us to put it out to all our members for anybody that would like to participate in this kind of roundtable. I'm going to be representing my organization, but I'd also like a lot more Dems to come out and really see so that we can have a political impact as well. So we can hold our political people accountable. And of course, to be able to support people like Kate Bishop, who had just endured months and months and months of attacks when she opted to raise the flag and really give representation to the LGBTQ people all over the Chula Vista Elementary School District. So if I will forward that to Sonara, but I wanted to give you a heads up. If you could please put that out to your communities. We're looking all over San Diego County for people to come. It would be one time a month, depending on when the school board gets attacked. And we would be working in North County, East County, South County, and Central. So all over San Diego. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, please put in the chat. I'm also adding the email in the chat. I put the school board awareness presentations, Kate, and the social equity in your community. I'm putting the information for Americans for Safe Access San Diego chapter. They've been really organizing around that. Danny, your hand is raised. And then Callie. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had two things. I wanted to highlight what Greg Robinson was saying a little earlier. SDEA is going to be doing an event at the San Diego Education Center on Normal Street on the 26th from 4:15 to 5:30. We highly suggest people show up for our teachers and make sure that we're raising awareness about this. So just wanted to highlight that. And I also wanted to highlight Sinar Kidwell because she has done such an amazing job as our director of clubs. And I just wanted to recognize you for a minute because you have worked tirelessly for this party and really have been doing so much. These jobs are often thankless, and I wanted to make sure that we thank you for all your efforts and being our director of clubs and really helping us grow our clubs and get representation. So you've been instrumental in that this year. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. You're very kind. I appreciate it. And thank you for being club president, Danny, and all that you do. You said SDEA. What is that?
SDEA is San Diego Educators Association.
Okay, so the San Diego Educators Association, I just want to clarify, is having a what?
A rally, I believe, that at the education center right there where they have the board meetings on Normal Street.
Okay, when is it going to be again?
March
I know you just
26th.
said this, but my brain.
It's okay. March 26th at 4:15.
March 26th, 4:15, San Diego Educators Association at the Education Complex. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, Callie, thank you. And thank you very much for your sweet words. Callie, your turn.
Yes, yes, thank you so much. I mentioned this earlier, but Sanjay, he did have to step off, and I are running for DNC member to represent the state of California at the national convention at the national party level. I am the only Gen Z candidate and the only woman under 30 running in my race. We're kind of just beginning up our campaign and are just reaching out. If any of you are interested in learning more about us or supporting us, if you don't mind, I would like to throw my email and our website in the chat.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Greg, I had seen your hand raised and now I don't. Or did you want to speak?
Well, I was just going to fill in and add a little bit to what Danny just said. Yeah, the SDEA is the teachers union, and San Diego Unified School District, they're facing over 250 layoffs alone in this next period of time. These layoffs are spreading across the entire state and in our county as well. And so it's so important, not just in San Diego Unified, but in Sweetwater and Chula Vista, there's all of us are facing these problems like this. So that's why it's so important. These mass layoffs, which are going to hurt our vulnerable kids. So again, teachers layoffs. That's I just wanted to add that. Thanks.
Okay, and I just wanted to let everyone know I put the wrong link in the chat. For Callie, I didn't successfully copy and I pasted the previous link. So wrong link. The correct link for Callie for DNC is, okay, I put the correct link in the chat now. My apologies for getting that wrong. Okay, anyone have any other announcements before we adjourn? Okay. Okay, as we talked about, our new business is going to be the upcoming Council of Clubs, Club of the Year presentations, which are going to be at our next meeting. I also want to let you know we've started talking as a group at Club Dev about having our Dem Club Summit like we did last year. Everyone last year seemed to think it, was a good idea. Obviously some lessons learned, but overall people were very positive. So they asked if we'd do it again. And it took me a few months to recover, but I guess, let's do it again. So the plan is to do it again in August. If anyone has any ideas, any thoughts, like I said, we do have a very extensive lessons learned document from the last one about, having food that doesn't take as long to prepare, about limiting our number of presentations so we have more time in each presentation. But yeah, we'd let us know your feedback. If you're excited about this, it makes us even more excited. So we are planning on doing another Democratic Club Summit this summer. So I just wanted to let people know about that. Derek, your hand is raised. And you are on mute.
I thought the summit was really great. First time I've ever known that I don't think we've ever had one before. I thought it was well done. The food was great. The speakers were great, and we certainly should do it again. It's really a great time to have clubs come together and Sonora, I think you created that, right? You were the brains behind it, and thank you for that. And I second what Danny's been saying about your contributions to our group have been terrific.
Thank you. I don't claim ownership. Josie Hamada at the Imperial Beach Democratic Club said, wouldn't it be great if we got all the clubs together for a summit? And she said it, it's stuck in my brain, and we rolled with it from there. So I give full credit to Josie Hamada for the idea. And then we went crazy implementing it. So let's see if we can do it again. So wonderful. We do have some continued business that we have not had a chance to discuss. I recognize this has been on there for a while around sexual harassment prevention training and club meeting exclusions. We will address that, and we have not yet had a chance. Okay, does anyone have anything else they would like to bring up at this time before we adjourn? Is there anything else anyone would like to say, or like to let the group know? Might do this one pretty quick, hour and a half. Oof. Okay. Well, if there is nothing else at this time, I'm going to spend a moment copying these links, and this meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Sonara, can you save the chat?